Hey guys, so this time we're going to do basic knowledge on your sewing machine. I'm just going to do my sewing machine because that's all I have. So hopefully either yours is similar or hopefully I can help someone who has the same sewing machine as me. So here we go. And I actually got mine as a Christmas present, but I think they got it from Walmart. I'm pretty sure. So, and I'll leave a note below on what it is and maybe even a link to where I got it or where you can get it. So mine is the Brother. If you watched my other video I said the same thing, but here it is again. It's Project Runway limited edition and it's a CE, you can't really see that, but I'll put it below as well. It's a CE 5500 PRW model. So in my last video I showed you how to thread the machine, and this time I'm just going to let you know like the different parts of it, because I know even I get confused sometimes and need to go back and look. So let's get started. I'm actually going to first show you, mine opens right there on my sewing machine, and it has a little compartment where it has a little bag of stuff that they gave me. So it's actually really nice. On some sewing machines though, this pops down and it comes down like that, and then you put the bobbin in right there. So I know like that's how my mom's sewing machine is, and that's how I learned to sew, like the type of sewing machine I learned to sew on. So it just depends on what kind of sewing machine you get, and there are a lot heavier dutier ones than mine, but this is just kind of a beginner's while I'm still in college kind of sewing machine. So I so far love it, so no complaints yet. Okay, so let's open our little bag and look at all this fun stuff that comes out. I think that's it. Yep. Wonderful. This probably looks really funky. I know when the first time I saw it I was like, what the heck? This is a Buttonhole Foot. Yes, I said that right. Okay. And this is your regular foot. So you would take that off, and you take that off by this lever right there. All I did was push it just like that, and the foot popped right off. So move my strings out of the way. So there's my foot. It's gone. But I take this guy and I very carefully slide him under here, and there's the silver part on him, the bar right there, and I just pop that right under. Okay, let me, it's not working. Sorry. This little thing this little ledge right here, there's a little space for that bar to pop into. So we just push it up there and pop it into place. Voila! If you hear a pop, it popped, and you're good. And that is for sewing a buttonhole, which I'm not going to show you how to do right now, but maybe later on I will if you guys want me to. So to get it off, you just push that again, and it comes right off. I need to be careful taking it off. So that is our first one, the buttonhole foot. Okay, so next on the list is this foot, and it's actually, I just learned that they have letters on there. See, so that says G. You can't really tell, but it's G. So this one is the overcasting foot. If I look in my little handy dandy notebook of instructions, this is overcasting foot. And then we have monogramming foot. If you're monogramming something. And then I learned that the zigzag foot is what this one is called. Not just a regular foot, but I mean, that's your basic, this will be your basic foot that you will keep on your machine. You will do most stitches with. You will do straight stitch, the basting stitch, tons of stitches. So don't worry about that right now if you're just starting to learn how to sew. And then this foot is the blind stitch foot. Good to know. This little guy, small, clear. This is the button fitting tool. No, fitting foot. Why did I say tool? Button fitting foot. Say that 5 times fast. I dare you. Okay, so that is. And then this Just the lid pops right off. And we have this little gadget. Now don't go stabbing someone's eye out with it, because it could be dangerous. It is called a seam ripper. It's actually, well, it is actually pretty sharp, because you have to rip the seams with it pretty much, like I said. So whenever you sew something and you want to take it out, this is a great tool to use, especially if it's really hard. But you gotta be really careful not to like ruin your fabric. That's what I hate about messing up, is you can really hurt your fabric. Okay, I'm just gonna leave that there. Okay, what else do we have? We have organ needles right here. Let's let me show them to you. They're size 14. An organ needle. Now I'm betting, I'm not 100% sure, so someone might correct me on this, that this is to replace this needle if it breaks. Which is quite possible. I've actually broken a needle before in class one time. I felt really bad. But you do want to be really careful when that does happen. Don't make something go flying at your eye or at yourself. It's scary. So don't do it. Okay, so this is a double needle, and the picture is exactly what it is. It just has 2 needles, so when you want to have 2 stitches, that's the needle you will use, and it just pops right in to where the old needle was. Like, see the top of this, how that needle will just slide in? Well, that's what that will do, too. And then, just some other needles. What sizes? Let me find out. They're 75 over 11, 90 over 14, and 100 over 16. There's one of each. So we got all those figured out. This little guy, what is this little guy? It's an extra spool pin right there, just in case. And then that's what this is for, and that is what this is for. Actually, I just realized I think it's so you can do two threads. Maybe that's why. Huh. These are all bobbins that it comes with, which they highly recommend that you use. But mine are working fine. So, I mean, these ones are just plastic clear bobbins, so I mean, it's fine. This, I'm assuming, is just another bobbin. I don't see anything special about it. It just has a nice little thing around it, but I don't even know what it is. Oh well. This is a cleaning brush. Great for sweeping away all that stuff, or if I pop that up and sweep out that. It's always good to keep your machine clean. It will last longer, and it'll just make your life so much easier. I guarantee it, kind of. This is a disc-shaped screwdriver. And funny, I have no idea what it does. I'm assuming you use it to screw something in, because of its name. It's the only reason I know. So, that is what we get in the little compartment in our bag. So, I'm just going to keep it all in there. That way I know exactly where everything is. And, yeah. So, let me put this away, and then we'll talk about the machine itself and all the wonderful things it can do. See you in a minute. Okay guys, so now we're going to go over the actual names of different parts of the machine. Some of them will be beneficial just because they'll help you remember things, but others it's not really a huge deal. I'm just letting you guys know, so if anybody's wondering, here you go. Okay, so let's start with this. This is a nifty little control. It's the upper tension control dial, and this controls the tension of the upper thread. So that's good to know. My machine is set at 3. I think that's a good number to set it at for now until I learn more about it and why and what and everything. So, for beginning, that's what I suggest. This right here, this little guy, see that? Oh, that's a better angle. Okay. That is the bobbin winding thread guide and pretension disc. Pass the thread under this thread guide and around the pretension disc when winding the bobbin thread. So that's what I did in the first, my last video on threading your machine. You just use this to wind your bobbin on. It'll go from this thing to this thing. So don't worry about it unless you're winding a bobbin. And then it really doesn't matter what it's called at all. this right here is the thread take up lever. When you turn your wheel that's on your right, the right of your sewing machine, it moves it, and this is the needle moving. So if I show you down here, see the needle is down, and then I come up here and I wind it again, and see it comes up. So you want to keep it at the top, because I mean that'll keep your needle safe, that'll keep you safe. It just makes everyone happy. So over here on the side is the thread cutter. Whenever you are done sewing and you just need to cut your fabric that is now sewn, you need to cut the threads away from your fabric, you can just come over here and slide it, and they cut very nicely. It's a very helpful little dealio. This up here, on most would have a couple different buttons. It's the operation buttons, but mine is just a reverse button. So if you're stitching forward and if you need to stitch backwards for like a little bit, you just press the button and it'll stitch backwards. And then yeah, that's what that does. And then this is our lovely operations panel. We have all these stitches. If you press the buttons, it'll go like it's on 1 right now, so it'll stitch this kind of stitch. If I go to, I don't know, let's see, 6, it'll stitch that kind of zigzag stitch. So let me put it back at 0. And then over here we have our stitch lengths, which is 2.5 right now. You can go smaller. You can go all the way down. Mine can go to 0.2, or you can go all the way up to 5.0, which is actually the basting stitch. So whenever you're told to base something, you go all the way to the top, to the highest number you can go to. So yeah, and mine shows this little doodly when it's at the regular. It's pretty much just the basic setting. I mean, it's not, you don't always have to, you won't always be on that setting, but it's just the basic setting that the sewing machine has. And so this one is the how do I say it? Which side your stitch is on. So if I keep pressing, I'm going to press this button, but I'll show you over here. It'll move the needle. So I'm pressing it all the way over. I just pressed it to 7.0 and it moved the needle all the way over. So now I'm going to press it all the way back down, and it's moving the needle all the way to the left. And that is where I'm normally set because I have it all set there. So those are the normal settings, and if you just turn, if you think you've messed up the settings or anything, you just turn your machine off and it will go back to the normal settings. So don't worry about that too much. Don't get too worked up over if you messed something up or not, because it'll all be okay. The spool pin holds a spool of thread. This winds the thread onto the bobbin for use as the lower thread, which the lower thread is that. So hopefully I didn't just confuse you guys. I'm really sorry. Okay, so now we come over here. This is your wheel. It's your hand wheel. That's what it's normally called. And this is used to manually raise or lower the needle, which is nice because if you stop with the needle down, you can just twist it really quick instead of trying to guess it with your foot on how much you need to push it down. This is the air vent. You always want to keep that clear when sewing so that it can air out the machine, the motor of the machine, and doesn't overheat or anything. I don't know if, I'm assuming they can. I mean, what doesn't overheat? That's your power switch. That's your cord to plug it in the wall. That's my pedal down there. Okay, so underneath, there's one more thing. Underneath, those are called the feed dogs. Right down here, these scratchy things. And so back here, I was actually just playing with them. You can lower them or raise them. Right now I have them raised. That's just how they were set on, so I just kept them that way. Alright, so hopefully that helped you figure out your machine a little bit and what everything is. In all my other videos, I'm sure I'll use some of these things and go over them more and what their uses are. So just keep watching, comment below, subscribe, and like, please. Thanks, guys.